Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by unbeaten heavyweight Fabio Wardley. Fabio, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How's things, mate? How are we?
Very good, thank you. Fight week again. It doesn't seem like that long ago you were out in fight camp against Simon
Mm.
Vallily. Not heard much from him since. Not sure if he's carrying on with the sport after losing to you, but you don't need to worry about that. It's onwards and upwards. Richard
Mm.
Lartey, is that still in the books?
Yeah, all sorted, all done, all confirmed. Yeah, it's a good question nowadays with things going on that 1 minute fights are on, the next minute they're off. But yeah, Richard's all signed, sealed, and sorted. So yeah, I'm just happy to finally have someone kind of nailed down. To be honest.
Well, yeah, I think every time Lighty's come over previously, there's always been a bit of doubt in the fight week whether it was going to take place or not. But he's always made it, so I don't think there's
Mm.
any serious concerns there or anything. But when it was first put to you to fight him, what were your initial thoughts? Because you must have seen him previously against Gorman and against Dubois. Did you think it was a good measuring stick? Did you think it was going to be hard to look good compared to Dubois? Because Dubois got him out quite early. What did you think?
Yeah, it's more so. It has nothing to do with them, really. It's to do with me. He's a good measuring stick for me to find out where I am in terms of my level, what I can achieve, what I can do, and just where I am at this point in my career. What he's done with how he's fared against kind of your Nathan Gormans, your Daniel Dubois is it near on irrelevant to me because like my career, my path, my journey, and the way and where I came from in terms of like it's different to theirs. So like I'm taking this on my what this 10th fight maybe. Well, yeah, this will be my 10th. Like Nathan and Daniel were well far ahead of me when they took this fight, and in terms of that as well, they've got the background of their GB squad and amateur days and stuff, which is none of that I have. So the comparisons are obviously going to come. That much is given, but to me, it doesn't matter. It's about me and how well I perform on the night, and if I'm happy with my performance.
Is there a positive side to it as well, though, in that he's known for being durable, he's known for coming to fight? These are good things that people can look at. And only recently we saw him against Gorman, he went the distance. That's a feather in his cap, I guess.
Yeah, like he's got that recognition at least to be known to be durable, and that you can
Yeah.
get rounds out of him, and that he's not turned up at any point and just fell over for the payday kind of thing and walked off with it. He does always turn up to fight, and he always turns up to win, which is brilliant, and I need that. So this is why I felt he was the ideal opponent for this stage of my career.
Without giving away too much of the game plan or any of the game plan, he's quite wild, he's quite raw at times. Is it going to be a case of sticking to your boxing, using your brain in there?
Yeah, but I think that much is obvious.
Yeah.
That much is obvious given with his style. The easiest way to kind of combat that style is to stick to your baseline boxing and stick to your jab and keep everything nice and floating and on the move. Like the best moments you've seen of him are where you engage with him and meet him at that kind of mid range and go kind of toe to toe with him. That's the best opportunity he has to get at you. And so but that much is obvious, like we've said. So all you need to do is just kind of stay away from those moments and pick your own.
What have you learned from being in fight camp previously in terms of the whole process with the pandemic, going into the bubble, fighting with no fans as well? What have you learned from the first time round that will help you this time?
A bunch of things really. There's no one thing in particular. I think because fight camp itself was so new and such a fresh idea and something that not only the boxers but just everyone around had never experienced before. It was new for everyone, especially with me and the one I was on as well, because it was fight camp week one. It was the first one of them all of anything of ever. So it was a brand new experience for everyone. But now I've got that experience. I've done it. I know what it's like. Like I'm going in the bubble tomorrow. I know the process. I know how that goes. I know what to do with my time a bit more and things like that. So it's just cleared away a lot of kind of the guessing that always does play in your mind a little bit and leave you wondering about certain aspects. That it's all cleared up mostly now. So it just feels like business as usual. This is the new normal for now, and you crack on.
Now, this card was initially going to be headlined by Dillian Whyte against Povetkin, the rematch. I'm sure you weren't overly delighted that that was postponed because you're close with Dillian. But is there a
Mm.
positive slant to that in that the undercard fighters have now all been elevated and there'll be more attention given to those fights?
Yeah, of course. As a part of deal, like I'm hurt that he wasn't able to get the fight off when he wanted, and it's been delayed, and he has to extend his camp, etc., etc. But from a selfish point of view, it clearly benefits me a lot more to because he's such a massive name, and the rematch itself was such a massive draw of attention, and everyone wanted to speak to them, and all of that. That now that that's out of the way, it's between me and the likes of Ben and Alan Babbage and Little and stuff, where we're all obviously not Ben, he's a little bit higher than all of us, but other than that, we're all kind of on similar levels, so we get a fair crack at the whip, which is good.
I suppose in that sense, Dave Allen retiring while a shock, and a lot of people will miss him being around the British scene. That's given even more attention to you guys as well, because he's a well-known name and he's now off the card.
Yeah, again, it just creates more space and more focus to us and the fighters that are actually there and actually fighting on the night and stuff. Like the whole Dave thing as well would have drawn a lot of attention. I think there's even talk of him being there in the bubble or something like that, just to be around or something. But I don't know if he does or if he doesn't. But yeah, it's more beneficial for us of all that we get some more exposure and able to build ourselves and just kind of get to show ourselves off to that new audience.
And talking of Dave, a fight between you guys has been mentioned a few times in the past. What did you make of his decision to call it a day?
I think it was the right move for him. I think us as a boxing community kind of, I wouldn't say we was expecting it because I don't think we was, but I at least think we kind of thought it should have happened, even if it did, or even probably a bit sooner. To think that you should probably, because you begin to see a slight decline in Dave and kind of just in his fights and his attitude towards boxing a bit, and just on that general scale that you can kind of see that if you compare him to that guy he was maybe 2-3 years ago, he's not the same kind of Dave back then. So you can see it kind of starting to unfold, and I think, like I say, it's the best choice for him in his career and ultimately his health as well. So it's happy retirement to him.
And of course, after he made that call, he released a video on social media of some moments in his sparring with Oleksandr Usyk, where he didn't come off particularly well. But Usyk, of course, did. A big gentleman, didn't take advantage of any vulnerability in Dave during that spar. You've been sparring with Usyk for a number of times now. Have you always found him to be just that sort of gentleman, a real classy guy?
Yeah, I have. It was no surprise to me. Like, I saw the vid, and it was no surprise to me whatsoever to see how he acted when he had Dave hurt, and for him not to kind of pounce on him and want to do any more damage. Like, I've seen him do that with other sparring partners, and I've seen him, like, when me and him have gone toe to toe at each other right until the bell. As soon as the bell goes, we stop, we give each other a hug and like a little head nod to each other to say, like, yeah, good, kind of thing. And I know he's that type of guy, so I knew he'd act like that, and it's credit to him.
As you've kind of gone up through the ranks, you're getting close to British title contention now. Do you still get as many calls for sparring as you did when you were coming up, or are people now seeing you more as a potential rival than a sparring partner?
I tell you how it works is that I do get as many calls, but now when I call, my calls get declined, or my requests in terms of sparring get declined more so. Also because I'm obviously asking the lower level people if they want to come spar me, etc. And they may see me as a possible threat, or for one reason or another, where with sparring and stuff, I'm quite open. I'm near on spar. Unless I'm fighting you next, like, I'll probably spar you. I haven't really got a problem with it too much. And that's the only place that I'm kind of finding difficulty still, because I always spar quite a high level, them fringe level of people that I be sparring with. So that's always fine for me. That them calls are always there, to be honest, which I'm really fortunate for. Just the area I've noticed a lot of kind of difficulty with is then when I put the calls out and say, does so and so want to come and spar and stuff, and I'm not excuses, but just reasons to why and why not.
Do you find it difficult sparring some of the, without being disrespectful, lower level guys after being in with people like Usyk, or can you take something from every spar?
No, it's all beneficial. Even if even if it's nice to get in with like a high level opponent who will punch you around for a bit, but then you get in with a lower level opponent where you can punch them around for a bit. Even if it's just nice to feel that other side of it, kind of thing, of that. as great experience as it is sparring with them high level people, when you're getting your head punched in every week to every week, and you can only get little bits out of the spar where you're only having them little moments of you doing well, as opposed to then when you're in someone who's closer to your level, a little bit higher than you, whatever, where you can then control the spar. It's good for you because then at least you get to work on some other things. There's different sides to it, so it's all beneficial.
As you go up through the levels in the sport, there's more kind of business responsibilities as well as the actual boxing. Are you still enjoying it as much as you did at the start?
Yeah, massively. Even more so now, I think. Even more as it's growing and building, and the recognition for stuff is coming. Like, it's nice to finally, like, I felt like for a long period of time, which was true, that I went under the radar, that I wasn't really in the conversation at all for any real British level kind of titles or whatever it was, and which is fair crack, because obviously I wasn't at that level, but I'd always been sparring or in the gyms or in around these people, so I knew in myself that I was, and I was there. But it's just nice that now my name is in the conversations. I'm mentioned with the Daniels, the Nathan Gormans, the was Dave Allen's, etc. So it's nice to now feel like you're getting that recognition of kind of the years and years of hard work that I have put in.
What's been the change there? What's been the key that's got you more recognition in the last year or two?
I think it's a massive part of it was down to fight camp. I think that fight for me was a massive turning point, because of everything it was. Really, it was against a good level of opponent, someone who'd been highly touted in the past to be a high level kind of ABA boxer. That was always the dark cloud over my head. It was that I never did ABA, and I came from white collar, etc., etc. And that was always the reservations with people and me, that, oh, well, surely you can't go that far because he hasn't had any ABA schooling, etc. So for me to then fight a high level ABA opponent, beat him in the fashion that I did, win the English title, and then obviously go on and now try and fight someone like Richard Lartey, I think it's now showing that I'm a genuine contender, and I'm really out there to kind of be put into those conversations with other people.
Do you think the fact that you have gone that, I was going to say unorthodox route, but there's a lot more people coming from the white collar scene now, so it's maybe even more common as it comes. But do you think that makes you more relatable to the average person on the street, that you haven't had that kind of GB amateur background?
I think so, yeah. And if anything, I want it to be that, because I want boxing to feel open to everyone, because it is. Because when I walked into my gym, everyone welcomed me with open arms, and yeah, it was a white collar gym, but I'd never boxed a day in my life, and no one turned their nose up at me, and everyone welcomed me in and wanted to show me this and wanted to teach me that. And I want me coming from white collar to be able to kind of be evidence to the fact that it doesn't matter what background you have or where you come from or what you do, as long as you are willing to give yourself to the sport can be for you.
And something I wanted to ask, I think I've asked you this before, but you've been with your trainer for a long time. How often, or maybe it doesn't happen at all, do you get people, and I don't want you to name them, but do you get people whispering in your ear saying, if you want to get to the highest level, you need to be with this guy or that guy?
I've had a few whispers of things like that. Yeah, they come, but they're just like, boxing's boxing. Someone's always got something to say about something. Someone's always got an opinion on something, and you could walk into one gym and they'll tell you how to box, and you can walk into a different gym and they'll tell you how to box completely differently. Like, I take nothing off it. It is what it is. But and almost it's a compliment to them people to say that they think I can reach that level if I had so and so coach or this and that. So I take it for what it is. It's a nice compliment I have. But right now, I'm happy with everything that I have. My team and stuff is perfect. I'm comfortable with everything. And if ever there's a point where we do reach a high level, and we feel like maybe we do need some, like a second voice in the corner or some extra help or something, me and my team aren't arrogant to think that we're above that and we have to do it on our own. Like, we're all humble in the fact that we'll have a conversation and think, you know what, actually, it'd be good to have someone that's competed at world level, or it'd be good to have someone that's done this or done that. Just not for them to take over the show and run it themselves, but for them to at least us have them there for when we have them questions and things like that.
It seems like as it stands, you're kind of growing together.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's exactly how I want my team to be as well. I want it to be these are the people that I started with, and I don't want just because now I'm doing well to leave them behind because that's not me as a person. I can't. There's no way I'll be to sleep happy at night if I suddenly wake up tomorrow, drop my coach and move on to so and so because now I'm at a higher level and I'm more recognised. Like I'd never be able to live with myself if I did that. That's not in me. That's not how I am. I feel like as much as I've grown in boxing, there's no reason to say why my coach can't grow or my strength team can't grow or anything like that behind me can't grow as well. We can all learn. If I can learn, then they can learn too. So I have no like worries about that whatsoever.
If all goes well against Richard Lartey on Saturday, what do you see as kind of a natural next step in the journey for you?
Just I think we need to keep pushing it. Obviously, the kind of next step was going to be the British title with Dave. That was what we was going to look at. Obviously, with him retiring, it kind of skews the plans a little bit, but that's still an option. The title of itself may still be an option. If not, like there's no particular rush. Me stepping up to the level of someone like Lartey, there's no problem with me having another 2 or 3 fights at that kind of Lartey level. Like no one would grumble at that. I don't even need to step up and do it right now, but I am. So if I just want to kind of next year get 3 or 4 of those kind of high, decent level fights out, good competitive fights done, just to get my experience, get my done, and bide some time, then I'm more than welcome to. But we'll take it for what it comes. We'll see kind of how next year goes. At the moment, it's so unpredictable to kind of plan anything or set any kind of route that you just kind of have to take it month by month and see where you end up. So that's the plan, really. Get through Lartey, move forward, maybe try and reschedule something like Lucas Brown, something like that. Still push at a decent level and just keep cracking through and getting my name up there.
Now that British title will be disputed a week after your fight, of course, between Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. It'd be remiss of me, with this chance to speak to you, to not ask for a prediction of how you feel it's going to go down.
It's borderline unfair as well because I've obviously sparred them both, and I've most recently through this camp I've been with Joyce helping him get ready for Daniel and stuff. So it's a hard one to me. I think it's a fight of two halves really. I think if Daniel can get to Joyce like and really get to him in the first half of the fight, then it's more in his favour. But I think the longer the fight goes on, it more just kind of pulls into Joyce and his engine that he's gone those longer rounds. He's done that before, and like I say, he is known for just being a machine and pumping forward. So I think that's the way it will go. Really, that's my predictions. It's a game of two halves. If it goes in the first half, then I'd give it to Daniel. If it gets into the second half, then I'm giving it to Joe.
I'm not going to push you to get off the fence on that one. I'm going to let that one lie because I know what a difficult position you're in. But yeah, I think most people would agree with your assessment. Really appreciate your time. I'm really looking forward to the fight on Saturday as well. Lartey against Gorman didn't quite deliver thrills and spills, but hopefully this one will be more entertaining. And certainly his fight with Dubois was, and you're usually an entertaining fight. So hopefully styles will mesh.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I am. It's going to be a good night. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there again.
Great stuff. All right, well, yeah, really appreciate it. And I'll look forward to watching you Saturday night and see you soon.
Cheers, Danny. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care.